Well, a very good morning and welcome to a sunny Falun for the penultimate day of the cross-country World Cup season. What a cracking situation we have. After yesterday's sprint, some fascinating sprints, lots of tactics, lots of good tactics, lots of bad tactics in the sprint yesterday. Slightly simpler today, Mike. It's a mass start, it's 10 kilometres, it's the classic style, and of course they're all you know, they've all taken bonus seconds through from yesterday, but they all start together. And those who did well yesterday obviously get further up the ranking on that start grid.
It's a good one. 73 athletes, so starting at the same moment. Marit Bjørgen, what does she do? She may have the opportunity to push away and try and get the bonus seconds, obviously, which is valuable. But will they close her down? I think Kala, one of her main rivals, it's a big journey, over 20 seconds to pull back. She's not going to effectively pull back, so she really needs to try and get up with Marit Bjørgen and go for some of these bonus seconds.
Well, for those who are in contention for top 3 in the World Cup standings, that's what this race is all about. For those who've got no chance of getting further up the World Cup rankings, this is about getting a World Cup win, because even the big names, the Bjørgens, the Kallas, are starting to tire. So there is an opportunity for those who've maybe had a season that's been interrupted with illness and suddenly coming back into form. So we'll keep an eye out for that. Nice to see some sunshine, Mike. Everyone, all the athletes with smiles on their faces walking around the warm-up grid earlier on today. Still sub-zero temperatures first thing this morning, so the tracks are in perfect condition. There's the golden girl, or woman, she's no 37, nearly 38. Marit Bjørgen still fantastic. Jessie Diggins, what's going to happen with her today? She could do with a win, actually, if she's going to win this mini tour. I think that's a distinct possibility, but she's got to race smart.
Indeed, the efficiency over this track, but she's so bullish and strong and brave, she'll probably go from the gun.
Falk wearing 1, Sundling 2. Sweden dominating the front row of the start order here in the 10-kilometre classic style in Falun. Number 4 is Anna Divik, who comes out of Mora, which is one of the great ski gymnasiums in Sweden. You've got number 3 there, that's Marit Bjørgen, you'll all know her. Jessie Diggins 5 on the right of your screen. Caldwell wearing 6, Slind of Norway 7, and Sadie Bjørnsen, another American, wearing number 8. She's had a tremendous season, but has been somewhat not outclassed, but you know, the press haven't really picked up on Bjørnsen's fantastic achievements because the Kallas and the Diggins and the Bjørgens.
Yeah, when you've got Marit Bjørgen in the field, she's taking so much of the... We talk about her because she's so special, and she keeps on producing, so we can't help but admire what she's achieved over the last 21 years in this sport.
Well, let's just have a quick roundup as we see Bjørgen setting the pace in the early stages. You know, she's 4 times she's won the overall, Mike. She's nowhere near the total because it's not her focus anymore. She's got a family to worry about, and she's got major championships to worry about. So that's why she's not competing for the overall title. But if you look at the number of wins, she's had 3 World Cup wins this year. Compare that to 2011 when she won 13. In 2015 she won 15. In 2012 she won 17 World Cups. That's why she has a phenomenal tally of 113 wins.
It's incredible. And I think the reason why she did so well at the Olympics, where she did so well in Oslo last week, is right now she can afford to pick and choose, therefore recovering. It's a tough old program, this World Cup. They're all tired today, of course they are. But she's had the opportunity to pick and choose, and that's why Marit Bjørgen, for me, is still going so strong and winning all the races in the recent weeks.
But you have to wonder, well, maybe it's not too difficult with Bjørgen because she's winning, but there are plenty of athletes out there who are nowhere near winning but still going strong. You know, your Niskanens, your Saarinens have been pushing it out. I know this is the last year for Saarinen. Emotional times for her in Lahti, knowing it was her last ever World Cup race in Lahti. I sort of got the feeling that she was so upset about it that she may be back next year.
She was, and you know, it's emotional. You put 20 years into anything, and she knew 2 weekends ago that would be the last time she'd be racing World Cup in Lahti, and it is emotional, and it can tie you up. It can make you do great things like Marit Bjørgen, because she knows she wants to go out in a high, or like Saarinen. She's here today racing again. Very emotional in the last races.
Now, if you were to have predicted who was going to be leading after 2 kilometres, Mike, who would you have chosen?
I love the way that Jess just takes no prisoners on herself. She's so harsh, so tough on herself as well. And I hope that she can pick up the bonus seconds today.
Okay,
and win the race.
Could pick up and win the race. That surely is what's important. What would it have meant to the Americans to have won the Holman Collins 30? And I'm absolutely convinced she was in the shape to do it. But you don't win the Holman Collins 30 by winning all the sprint bonuses on the way to the finish line.
It's a tough one, but she felt good, and I love the instinct that Jess has. She felt good, and she thought, okay, I'm just, it feels like a 30-kilometre sprint race, and she managed to cope with it. She finished second. It was phenomenal. And
yeah,
so close. So close.
So close. But you know, we can argue until we're blue in the face. I still feel if she'd tucked in behind Marit Bjørgen and got a ride all the way to the finish, that was the way to win, because Bjørgen is so good at 30k. She knows how to pace it to perfection. Slight little mix up there, no real damage done to the main players. Number 57 just pulling through is Elizabeth Stephen of the USA, and Mika Kodami of Japan, number 70 at the back, who's just gone past Moa Lundgren, who was the one who took the tumble initially. And already 120 metres between the front and the back of the field.
Oh, this is pushing. Marit Bjørgen has to stick now with the incredible pace that Jess is setting.
Yeah, I think Diggins will have got some confidence from that 30k, Mike, because don't forget, at 20k in that 30, she was what, 33, 34, 35 seconds clear of Marit Bjørgen. So I think she realizes that her best bet is the 10 kilometers. Last season, the last 2 seasons, it's really been the 5k where she's been outstanding. This year that distance has gone up to 10. I suspect next year she'll be pretty good at anything up to 15, but it may be a couple of seasons before she's you know, masters that 30k distance.
But Jess Diggins, the American, her status is growing. Her self-belief is growing in every single race she takes part in. Where's Kalla? I thought Charlotte Kalla would be up there by now.
Well, Charlotte Kalla, incidentally, is wearing 15. Obviously, she's on the right-hand side of your picture, back in 3rd place. The big, thick headband usually gives her away. This could be a race for Charlotte Kalla. She's slowly made her way through. Number 23 has done well. That's Kerttu Niskanen, who's 9th in the World Cup standings. And Niskanen's had some good classic races of late. She's gone 4th, 6th, 6th, 4th. She needs to take one step further. A top 3 would be fantastic at the end of her season. And Mike, can you just explain, we've obviously got 2 days of consecutive racing now. Well, it would have been 3 because of the sprints yesterday. It's called a mini tour. 200 points go to the winner of the tour, but only 50 points to the winner of each stage. How does the start tomorrow, how do we determine that?
So today, everyone's starting together. You get your time today, and then tomorrow, so today's classic technique, as we can see here, tomorrow it's the same distance, 10 kilometers, but tomorrow it's in the freestyle, and you start in the position in which you finish today. So the fastest athlete will be starting first, and all the way back to 73, chasing that fastest time.
And as you can see from the bib numbers, 19, 23, 16, all up the front. There's Heidi Weng slipping a little in the early stages, and they've eaten up the time that they lost yesterday in the sprint without too much problem as they go through 1.8. Welcome back to Falun. The pace being set at the front is fairly punishing, and we've now got over 200 meters between the front of the field and the back, and the Norwegians are largely responsible for setting the pace. It's been a good run so far from Astrid Jacobsen. She's keen for more success after just missing out on a podium finish in the Holman Collins 30 last weekend. Penultimate day of the season. How good does this feel? Spring is in the air. They know that there's a 2 or 3 week break coming up, Mike. There's a different atmosphere around town than we get generally at the other World Cups.
Yeah, very much so. And when you mentioned the good weather and the feeling at the end of the season, but there's so much tension here because they've still to keep focus all the way through till tomorrow. Then they can relax. And in fact, some of them go on to do the tail end of their national championships in the next couple of weeks. So there are still some races, but a little less serious. So one sprint in this 10-kilometre for the women. Later, there'll be 2 possibilities to pick up 15-second bonus for the men. So 15-second bonus to hoover up on the way, on the journey over this 10 kilometres. So many of these, as you say, the Norwegian suits up the front at the sharp end, ready to pounce.
Now, other numbers we need to look out for, Mike, in terms of the overall World Cup. The top 10, few positions could change over the next couple of days. Stadlober of Austria. Now, we're both keen that she has a bit of a success in the end of the season because her story at the Olympics was so sad. In line for a silver medal in the 30K, takes a wrong turn, finds herself down in 9th.
That for me was the biggest disappointment for any individual athlete throughout the whole season. She was definitely clear of by almost 15 seconds for that silver medal and going strong, picking up the pace and taking that wrong turning. Will she ever get over that? She's lost an awful lot by making that wrong turning.
Well, we've just seen Stadlober. She's at the back of this group and wearing bib number 33. And is that Marit Bjørgen back in front? I think it may well be. The ponytail usually a good giveaway for her. Harsham's done a bit of the lead. Jakobsen. I haven't seen Ingvild Østberg, who's second in the World Cup standings, Mike, and still has a chance of taking the overall title should Heidi Weng have a blowout today. Heidi Weng, obviously in the yellow bib, will try and ID her. Østberg is wearing bib number 16 and I suspect is hiding in the group somewhere, but both Weng and Østberg have looked a shadow of their former selves when we saw them on the Tour de Ski. There's Heidi Weng right in the middle. She's double poling everywhere, Mike. I think the wax has already gone. That could be the sign that that Østberg needs.
Matvieva
there.
Matvieva, now an interesting one yesterday. Remember, we saw, of course, Neprieva. She's wearing the turquoise, the best under 23, but she was disqualified. Now, technically, you're disqualified for the 3-day event. They reinstated her, but awarded her, punished her by a 3-minute penalty. Now, that is critical because Sedeva started this mini tour only, what, 175 points behind Neprieva, going for that under 23 title. So quite serious shift there in points, and the fact that she was reinstated having been disqualified.
Norway, 1, 2, 3, 4, and guess who's trying to go with them? Charlotte Kalla of Sweden. Charlotte Kalla, of course, the Olympic skiathlon champion. What a game. Charlotte had pretty much matched Marit Bjørgen. Bjørgen came away with 2 golds, 1 silver, 2 bronze, and of course went ahead of both Bjørndali and Uliana Bjørndalen in terms of medals achieved. But the crucial thing was to give her status as we come up to the bonus point. She got that 8th gold, which makes her the most successful Winter Olympian of all time. And here she is setting the pace, wearing number 3. And there's Østberg for the first time, Mike, finds herself at the front. And she will want to hurt Heidi Weng. She may well have sensed that Weng is in a spot of bother with the wax. But
well,
as I say that, Weng coming back. Keep an eye on the yellow bib. It's a much shorter stride. She's just not skiing how she was at the start of the season.
Very, very tired. Marit Bjørgen, the status, she dictated everything from coming through the stadium so that she was at the front. She's picked up another 15 seconds.
That's going to be quite handy for tomorrow. It's a pursuit start tomorrow. Oh, it's fantastic to see the snow in such good condition. Very envious of those of you heading out to Scandinavia or wherever it may be for the end of the season. A little bit of Easter skiing. We're heading up to Lillehammer at the beginning of next month, and I know, because I'm checking the snow reports daily, they've got over 2.5 meters of snow on the ground.
Isn't that brilliant? And that's for a coaching week, isn't it?
Coaching week up, yeah, Nordsetter, which fantastic tracks. I mean, you just miles upon miles, and with modern technology, you just have a look at the map in the morning. It tells you exactly where all the piste and bullies are, so you can be you can have virgin tracks all day long if you wish. So there are the bonus points, and Norway hoovering up the vast majority. Charlotte Kalla getting herself 6. Tiril Udnesveng getting in there, Mike. Heidi Veng just 4 points. Usberg, did she pick up the 10? So that could be key in terms of seconds.
Usberg, yeah, she picked up the 10. And of course, there's another 15 seconds for the person who crosses the line. Another bonus, so a potential 30 seconds added onto your time. And it's looking to me very much like Marit Bjørgen is in control.
So 13 is Tiril Udnesveng. She's getting better and better, and been in the shadow of Heidi Veng, her cousin. I'm not sure whether it's first cousin or second cousin, but there is a link there. And you know, just slowly coming up through the ranks, and that seems to be the advantage the Norwegians have. They have so many in development programs that they can bring them on stage by stage. If you compare that to, say, the British team, they go from starting their careers, a little bit of racing maybe at club level somewhere, straight into the World Cups, where you go from being in the middle of the group to out the back of the group. It's just not the ideal development.
It's not. I mean, when you live in Norway, when you've got every club everywhere and tracks everywhere, you know, you've got the strength and depth. Sweden should be the same, in my opinion, and of course Finland and many countries. America's covered in snow 5-6 months of the year, so there are opportunities for many other countries.
They don't call this Killer Hill, they call it Murderbakken, which is Murder Hill, obviously, or Killer Hill, as we would say. And it's a really brutal climb away from the stadium, but they're over the halfway mark now. Marit Bjørgen with a slim lead. She's got, what, 10 seconds on Falla, who's a quick finisher. Saarinen down in 21, still going well, despite the fact that she's right at the end of her career. A little bit of a wax problem for Lampitz, who's light on the feet. Number 2, Jonas Sundling, got her first podium finish yesterday in the sprint. The 23-year-old from Umeå, delighted with her performance. I thought the Swedes raced brilliantly yesterday, very smart, and particularly Hannah Falk, who took the win. That was a really clever bit of racing.
We haven't really seen such tactics in the women's sprint competition. Petter Northug used to hold the field back and then burst away, so he had the advantage to break away by surprise, by stealth.
Nadine Feindrich trying to keep her head up. Not quite as fluent as Slind alongside her, but the Swiss going well. It's not been a bad season for the Swiss at all. Von Siebenthal going well. Van der Graaf getting a couple of wins in the sprints.
Slind, you mentioned, she actually came 4th in the Marcia Longa, that 70-kilometre race at the end of January, and they're so close to first.
We've got a bit of a gap opening up for the first time, Mike, and 2 Norwegians have broken away. We've got number 13, which is Tiril Udnesveng, skiing way above expectation. Fantastic skiing from her, right on the heels of one Marit Bjørgen. How crucial is this, Mike? After the big climb, it's a relatively easy section, and Marit Bjørgen taking the corners way better than she did in the sprint race yesterday.
Marit's just looking so strong. I thought that she might, having gone all the way through to the finals yesterday 4 times around the 1.4-kilometre sprint course, I thought she might be a little stiff in the legs, a little sore today.
Well, Heidi Veng's lost a few places, but she's still close enough to keep hold of the lead in the overall World Cup standings. 141 points between Veng and Usberg at the start of today. 2 days of racing left, so 50 points today, 50 tomorrow, and then the 200 bonus points. If Usberg can, you know, she could do it, but she's got to hope that Veng really picks up minimal points today.
Another athlete we haven't mentioned much, Patrick, right up at the sharp end, is Shida. Often does well in the classic technique, 7th position, just 5 seconds behind.
And often does well at the end of the season. So a quick kilometre and a half. Coming towards the closing stages, 17 minutes on the clock at the moment. And what are we expecting? Something like 21, 22?
Yeah, 22 maybe today, with Murderbakken involved 3 times. 3 times up that hill Really does take the sting.
Here we go.
51 coming through. That's good. Very, very good to see Ishida now moving up from 5th into 3rd.
And that little lead that Tilde Nesveng and Marit Bjørgen had has gone, and it's Ingvild Østberg who's closed the gap. So Norway, 1, 2 and 3. Brilliant racing from number 51, Ishida, as Mike mentioned. And nice to see her going so well. 14, Jakobsen, who looks as though just a little tentative on the skis. Heidi Weng is in there, grinding away. At the beginning of the season, she was always in the top 3. It's been a tricky second half to the year for Heidi Weng, who is highly likely to take the overall title for the 2nd year in succession. Up towards the top of the climb, we saw this a lot in the sprint race yesterday. And is Bjørgen going to be able to pull this one off? I thought she was fantastic to get a top 3 in the sprint. Her first podium finish in the sprint all season, Mike.
Oh, it's amazing. And we thought maybe the sprinting aspect of her pack of cards had gone, had left her, but she proved us completely wrong yesterday.
She needs 10 metres as she heads down into the stadium, and she's got at least 9. In fact, maybe more than that. The chasing group should be quicker on the descent.
Marit's taking that hill as if it's the sprint competition again. Quite incredible. So through the stadium they'll go for the final time.
She stays low, and this time she finds herself out front on her own. A couple of those going quicker behind. I'm not sure it's about the ski speed. I think it's more about the slipstreaming, and it's Østberg again who tries to close down the gap, and here comes Krista Pärmäkoski, who I don't think we've mentioned at any time today. Pärmäkoski wearing 32. She's in a position to challenge Jessie Diggins for top 3 in the World Cup standings, but she's got to hope that Diggins fades, and it doesn't look as though there's any sign of that at all.
So they've completed now as they go through the stadium 2 times 3.75, so it's only the shorter 2.5 kilometre, the blue loop left, and Marit Bjørgen desperately hurting everybody, but desperately trying to get more than 10 metres lead.
Marit Bjørgen seems to be gaining on the uphill sections, Mike, the really steep uphill sections, which is an indication that she is in fabulous form, but can she gain enough of an advantage to capitalise as she comes down into the stadium?
I think so, Patrick. She's got, as you say, her strength. This is some of the best form we've seen from Marit Bjørgen for a good number of years. Yes, she had it at the Olympics as well. She's had a wonderful 1 month of racing.
Now, you know, we've said a number of times, winning endurance races isn't all about leading and setting the pace. It's about racing clever. And Charlotte Kaller has remained hidden all the way through this race, Mike, but she's never been out of the top 4. We've got Pärmäkoski there in 3 at the moment. Østberg working 100% just to stay with Marit Bjørgen, who's, I think, eased things off a little bit as she heads out. 8 kilometres now completed, 2,000 metres to go. They've got a couple of brutal climbs still to come before they come back into the stadium.
Now, Østberg really punching above recent form, so she's bringing something special to the game, and she'll be thinking, well, maybe, just maybe, I have a chance to take the overall, dependent on how Heidi Weng gets on today.
Bjørgen the better sprinter, but if Østberg gets her tactics right, she might be able to take advantage. I'd keep an eye out for Pärmäkoski. Don't forget, she looked fantastic in the 10-kilometre in Lahti 2 weekends ago. She got the win there, was overjoyed with that. 10 metres or so between Pärmäkoski and Kaller, Mike. Kaller, do you think that's the end of her chances?
Kaller, she may well come back. Remember the Olympics, when the Olympic sprint, yes, it was in the freestyle, the Olympic relay 4 years ago. She's a great fighter as Kaller.
And Stadlover's coming. Jessie Diggins, after a very strong start, is struggling to stay with the chasing group. Stadlover could find herself on the podium. That would be just rewards for the efforts she's put in this year. But the gap between the first group of 3 and the chasing pack is growing very, very slowly, but it is growing. And it's Marit Bjørgen who's still doing the damage out front.
That's a whole lot of work to be leading, to be hunted down. She's only got 2 on the tails of her skis. The rest are struggling or suffering. I mentioned Nepreva earlier. She was awarded 3 minutes yesterday, and it looks like she's decided not to start. With that 3 minutes added onto her time, maybe it was a lost cause. Will she win the under-23s? We'll have to wait and see.
So Ishida has gone ahead of Kala, decided she wasn't going to bring her back to the leaders. Tiril Udnesveng, who was trying to stay with Marit Bjørgen, she's paying a heavy price for punching above her weight, but give her credit for trying. Number 8 is Sadie Bjørnsen, and just looking a little weak on the right-hand side. Sometimes that happens, one leg gives way, but I think the technique's starting to fall apart for Bjørnsen at the moment.
Oh, the pain, the hurt after 23 minutes. It is going to be time-wise a long 10 kilometres, and that is the brutal nature of this track, of this course.
Yeah, it's looking more and more as though the winner is coming out of this group of 3, and Palmakoski making her move for the first time. Great skis on the fin.
I was going to say that, into the stadium for the last time where Palmakoski, she pulled a lot of her time back on the descent, but she needs to be strong up this next climb.
Well, she's put herself in the perfect position, and pretty much side by side. A little bit of a grip on Bjørgen's skis. I mean, maybe just trying to shake some frozen ice on the base of the ski off to make sure that she's got the perfect condition for this climb. This is where this race could be won and lost, and Marit Bjørgen certainly ups the ante, goes for the inside line. We saw them race on this in the sprint yesterday. They'll break round to the right, and Østberg just losing a couple of seconds.
Oh, that was some tempo. Marit certainly using a more efficient technique, sliding the skis up the hill. Østberg was very tense, running as fast as she could up this climb.
Well, this is going to be a cracking finish, and Ishida, Mike, could well claim a top 5 spot here today, but she does have one Charlotte Kalla, the Olympic skiathlon champion, on her tail. Last steep climb for Marit Bjørgen, who's got a 3-meter lead over Palmakoski. Østberg has got to do something drastic now if she's going to get back on terms, but if they're all together going over the rise, then it's going to be a sprint finish in the stadium, and Østberg moves to the left, looks for better grip. She's still 2 or 3 seconds adrift of the race leader.
The strength of Marit Bjørgen, when it comes to climbing, she's got the engine, the fitness, the strength, and really makes those suffer. There is still a chance for Palmakoski.
Yeah, I think so, Mike, because we thought her skis were running well, and if that is the case, Palmakoski, who's currently in second, is going to close down that gap over the next 150 metres on Bjørgen. They both take that corner well. Østberg loses ground. I think that's her chance at the win gone. And here comes Palmakoski. She's gaining, she's gaining. 350 metres remaining. One little climb to go. And there's a burst of speed from Palmakoski. Bjørgen, if she keeps it going, can get the inside line on the final corner before they come into the home straight. It's going to be a cracking finish.
Palmakoski lost a little bit of her momentum. She didn't get all the advantage of that faster glide. She hesitated and lost the momentum, but still a chance.
And she's in the perfect position again, Mike, to feed off the slipstream of Bjørgen. 150 metres remaining here in Falun. Will it be Finland? Will it be Norway that take the win? Marit Bjørgen, 3rd yesterday, looks strong in the double pole, but here comes Palmakoski, 50 metres to go. She's half a metre behind, gaining with every stride, and it's going to be Palmakoski, who got a win in Lahti 2 weeks ago. She gets another one in Falun, and Marit Bjørgen pushed down into 2nd place. Østberg has to settle for 3rd. 5 seconds adrift in the end, just lost ground on the descent into the stadium. The race for 4th is on, and it looks as though Charlotte Kalla is going to get that. Ishida, a fabulous 5th place for the Japanese skier. And, well, I must apologise, it was Anderson in 4, Kalla down in 6, Stadlover of Austria 7, showing what a class athlete she is, and Jessie Diggins, who shone in the first 2 kilometres, down in 8th place.
I am so impressed with Palmakoski. When it comes to upper body strength and arm power, you would normally 99 times out of 100 put your money on Marit Bjørgen to take any of the rest in the world. But today, Palmakoski wanted that victory just that little bit more.
And of course, she raced a little bit smarter. You know, she tucked in behind. Did she lead at any stage other than the last 3 metres? No.
Clever, clever racing.
35 coming into the finish is Anna Haag of Sweden. This is a great distance to race. I often think a mass start for men over 10 kilometres would be electric, Mike.
Oh, it would be. It's almost a sprint. Well, in biathlon, the 10 kilometres is called the biathlon 10K sprint. In the women's, it's 7.5. But you're absolutely on a severe pace. And I think those bonus seconds changed the shape of the race because it had to be fast from the gun.
Von Siebenthal across the line in 34. Dahlqvist, Nishikawa, Van der Graaf of Switzerland, 38. All these athletes missing out on World Cup points. And Hannah Falk, who won yesterday, down in 42nd position, 138 given away. But she got bonus seconds yesterday, so that will help her cause. She's still going to be in the top 20, I think, of the standings as we go into tomorrow. And all the bonus seconds are added together, all their bonuses from yesterday put into the pot, and we'll come out with a starting order for tomorrow. Marit Bjørgen surely is going to have the honour of going first.
Without a doubt, and my calculations, I'm looking, she must be have an advantage tomorrow of about, what, 38 seconds over anybody, maybe more.
Can you remember how many bonus seconds Parmakovsky got going through that the sprint section? We'll see if we can find that.
Well, she had such an easy pace early on that I think she was almost out of the points. 12th position, yeah.
Yes.
So she's only picking up 2 points there. But she's got 15 at the end, so 17.
Keegan Randall, 57.
Bonus seconds.
Another athlete who's ending her career this year, 234 behind. And what a career it's been for Keegan Randall, Mike. She was queen of sprints for a long, long time.
She was. Her winnings, what, she's got 11, 12 victories over the sprint distance.
Yeah, the Crystal Globe winner, 4 seasons on the trot in the sprint for Keegan Randall. And, of course, she crowns her career with that Olympic gold medal in the team sprint event alongside Jessie Diggins. One of the great moments in the Alpensia cross-country stadium out in Pyeongchang. Here comes Vesna Fabian on the left of your screen. Can she get the win over Modig? I think just.
Well, we heard Østberg giving a good, loud, cheerful scream there, victory scream, and I think that's good. She's back on the podium, Østberg, having really had a poor time since pre-Olympics through the Olympics until now. Good to see her back.
And she's got a lot of points over Heidi Weng, who's down in 22nd position. Well, I didn't think there was going to be any chance for Østberg to close the gap. There's Østberg wearing 16. They're all... what are they talking about?
Comparing racing notes.
Talking wax.
Was your wax good? No, mine was terrible.
Well, Bjørgen certainly, I don't think her skis were quite as good as Parmakovsky's on the latter 2 or 3K.
But Marit, I think with the strength and the quality of her uphill racing, she these days I think is just give me grip. Yes, I might suffer a little on the glide, but I don't want to be slipping.
Should she have led so much of the race?
You can always look back at it, but yeah, she's got the strength. She wouldn't have expected Parmakovsky nor Østberg, I think, to stay with her. But yeah, you could maybe argue.
We've got to do this a couple times now. That was really impressive. Congrats on the win, first of all, and then talk us through that end of the race, because you came off so strong, and then you out double pulled Marit Bjørgen on the home stretch.
Yeah, actually, I first was really good skis and good grip and good glide, and when we go to this last 100 meter, and I saw that I'm a little bit faster than Marit, it's feeling good, and when I crossed the finish line, it was so amazing feeling that I can beat to Marit Bjørgen.
And these skis, these are the same ones that you've had all your success this year with the wins anyways.
Yeah, these weather conditions is good for me, and I have my lovely skis I use also in Lahti and Planitsa, so it's my lucky #1.
Maybe even if you don't feel great in the morning, but when you wake up and you see, all right, cold snow, it's going to be a good day.
Yeah, actually, when I heard that today morning is 20 degrees minus, so I think that today will be my day.
And it was. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So her third win of the season, her 7th time on the podium for Krzysztof Palmakowski. Is she going to be the one who takes the Crystal Globe next year? She's out of contention this year, down in 4th place and some way behind Jessie Diggins, but a good run. Now, Mike, can we dare to do the calculations to work out the difference between Weng and Usberg? Maybe we have to wait for the official figures.
Well, hopefully we will get the official figures in a couple of minutes' time.
Welcome back to Falun. There you see the result sheet. Palmakowski, Bjørgen, Usberg. What a race it was. Palmakowski took the lead with about 2.5 meters to go of the 10K. Brilliantly raced from the Finn, and her 3rd win of the season. Heidi Weng down in 22nd position. So a very rough estimate is that Usberg has pulled back 40 points or so on Heidi Weng today, also getting bonus seconds advantage over her main rival. So roughly, Mike, a 5-point swing either way, roughly 100 points between them. If Usberg can finish 2nd in the mini tour, Heidi Weng's under real pressure. She
may well lose. It's almost in her hand today. Going into this final, you just thought Heidi Weng, she can't be beaten. The points are so great in terms of those chasing her. It's massive shift today, and she did try and stay with the early pace. She was 4th at 4.5 Ks. And because she's so tired, she really suffered in the final half of the race.
Yeah, I think the skis weren't good. You know, she was the only one slipping in the early stages, and then her technique just didn't look the same. But if we look at her results, as we see Palmakowski and Usberg fighting it out, these are the top 3 finishers today, incidentally. Weng's last 4 results, 25th, 18th, 25th, 22nd. That's not the style of a Crystal Globe winner come the end of the season. So I think she won't be sleeping easy tonight. She knows she's still got a lot of work to do.
She certainly won't be sleeping easy, and it's really tough for Heidi Weng. She will be upset, and the negativity she'll be feeling for having poor skis, frankly, that she was slipping madly. What about Palmakowski waking up this morning, seeing it was -20 and saying, yep, this is my day, I'm going to win again?
Yeah.
Good psychology.
And when you have a good pair of skis, Mike, they are like gold dust. You do not take them to the medal ceremony. They go straight back to the technician, and they're given their own little slot in the van and looked after for as long as possible.
And the difference they made, Patrick, there was a full 15 meters at the top of the last descent, and there was no way that Palmakowski was getting any benefit from the slipstream at that distance between them, and those skis hauled Marit back in, and it gave her the confidence to take the victory.
So there are your 3 podium finishes. Palmakowski cleaned up her face, and never looks too attractive in the latter stages of the race, Mike. But you know, maybe that's an indication that, well, she's not 100% fit, but she didn't show any signs of weakness today. It was brilliant.
There's the time starting tomorrow.
There are the starting times. So Bjørgen 36 seconds clear. Keep your eye out for Heidi Weng, who finished 22nd today.
Well,
was she on that first sheet?
No, Heidi Weng's coming up.
There she is, number 21.
1:32.
1:32 behind. So she's roughly a minute behind Usberg, some 53 seconds behind Usberg. She's not going to beat Usberg tomorrow in the 10K, Mike. I think she has to finish in the top 12 to have a chance of winning the overall, should Usberg come through.
Well, they're 107
points between them. And if Heidi Weng, if Usberg finishes 2nd tomorrow, she'll get 160 points for being 2nd in the mini tour, and she'll also get 43 points for finishing 2nd, so a 203-point game.
Heidi Weng will not sleep easy tonight, and if she has a great pair of skis tomorrow, and Heidi will just have to do her best, and it would be a real pity for her to lose, having had the yellow bib for so much of this racing season.
And it's nice because these two have had a battle all season long.
All their lives.
All their lives,
same age.
Well, that's true. And Hager, of course, as well, who comes from the same era as Heidi Weng and Usberg. So the overall leader in the World Cup, we're hoping we're going to get the figures just to check our calculations. But she's an athlete who has been on a very, very long slide since the end of the Tour de Ski. Difficult times for Heidi Weng, but she's a gritty performer, and there's less chance of getting the skis wrong tomorrow. The fans are going to be in for a treat, whatever happens. Let's hope this sunshine stays. The forecast was for warmer weather, clouds, and a little bit of snow tomorrow. I hope this Scandinavian high, as they call it, hangs around for just another 24 hours so we can finish the season in blazing sunshine at -15. Well, there you have it. Well, we thought it was 100, Mike. We're way out. Well, 70 points between them. That's the distance World Cup standings. Don't be fooled. Yeah. The distance World Cup standing. So that globe is looking as though it may well head to Usberg. Usberg could be on for a haul. My goodness, she won't sleep tonight either.
And that's quite a turnaround. Last week, Usberg was really tired as well in Oslo in the 30-kilometre, but a massive comeback today.
What a gutsy performance from Palmakoski. We've got the men's 15K coming up later on. Are we going to see Niskanen do something special? It's very, very possible. Join us for that. And, of course, next comes the women's biathlon from Oslo.